What's going on, man? It's your boy Jay Holley, and we are back with another episode of Bleav in the Cowboys breaking news edition. But before we get into that, remember, hit the like, subscribe button. You do not want to miss this conversation. You don't want to miss this content because it can come at any given time, especially if you're following the Cowboys and you already know that. So make sure you do that, man. Make sure you put it in your group text, your family text, your church text, whatever you got to put it in all of the sources so that you can be up to date. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast form from. But before we get into that, let me tell you about my friends at BetOnline. BetOnline continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection on everything from NBA, college basketball, NHL to UFC, BetOnline is the number one betting source for the new year. For touchdowns to 3 points to hat tricks, BetOnline has you covered on every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. And I am sure that there will be some sort of predictions on who will be the next Dallas Cowboys head coach because that's my breaking news sound. As reported first earlier today by Tom Pelissero, who is, if you don't know, every kind of owner, coach always has their guys. Like Tom Pelissero is like Mike McCarthy's guy. Like he's his dude, right? So when things come out from Tom Pelissero, you kind of know it's coming from the horse's mouth, meaning Mike McCarthy. But if you have been living under a rock, then you do now know that Mike McCarthy will not be brought back as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Report came out today that the two just couldn't agree on contract years. I'm sure that Jerry wanted more. It's been reported that Jerry wanted a shorter contract with more incentive-based things in the contract, which I always thought was just an insane thing to try to get a head coach to do. Mike McCarthy, for his future, he's like, hey, listen, either you want me or you don't want me. But what we're not going to do is let you have me a 2-year deal and then let it be incentive laden. And then now I'm coaching for my life every single week, and I'm dependent upon whether someone else does their job good enough or whether or not I get my pay. And there's so many angles and where we start from. But for me, this is so on brand to what the Cowboys have become. This is so on brand of the dysfunction, the dragging of feet, the indecisiveness that has plagued the Cowboys for some time now. Because here's when you start breaking this thing down, like Mike McCarthy, we know what he was as a head coach, right? 12-5, 12-5, 12-5, and then he had what he had. You know, he had 12-5 season this last couple of years, and we know what he had this season and on a losing record. And I have been long on record saying that Mike McCarthy would not be coming back as the Dallas Cowboys football head coach. And the reason that I believe this was just rumbling that I heard around the building. But if you didn't want me after 36 victories, if you didn't want me after 3 12-5 seasons, there was literally nothing I was going to be able to do in this year outside of winning the Super Bowl, which you did not give him a good enough team to do that. That was going to get you to retain me. It's most times if you have a coach that you want, that you like, that you feel that you can build a future with, you go ahead and sign him. You could have went on to sign Mike McCarthy in the offseason last year and training camp, sometimes early in the year. And I've long told people this is when your owner or the person that has your job by the kahunas, when they start overly praising you for no reason, the writing's on the wall for you. When they just come out of nowhere like, oh, we love him, we like him, he's doing a really good job, and the praises are just, the question wasn't asked for the praise. You don't know why they brought it up, but they just overly praise when you know that there's a situation where that coach may not be able to be brought back for whatever reason. Anytime you have those type of anytime that you try to have those type of conversations, you're just like, yeah, we love them, we love them, we love them, this and this and that. You're done. You're cooked. You can consider yourself out of there. And to Mike McCarthy's credit, this is a guy who's been around the National Football League for 30-something years. He shouldn't take a contract that is less than what a contract deserves, what a head coaching deserves. And let me also state this. How can I put this? Because you see a lot of times players do this, where there's a quarterback who's next up. And that quarterback is the next one up. And you may hear rumors or conversation about that quarterback wanting to take a team-friendly deal, or take a deal that may not be, or maybe less than what they should be getting. And you'll see sometimes publicly, a lot privately. You'll have other agents, you'll have the NFLPA come in and step in and go, whoa, 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 whoa. Listen, Linda, listen. You can't take that deal. I know you want to be that organization. I know you want to, but if you do that deal, you now give credence to the other owners to kind of give more deals like this, which hinders the players from continuing to elevate on those. You see what happened to the running backs. And so I think, the running back became devalued. And so a lot of times they just started paying less and less and less for running backs. The quarterback market has grown, so they're going to seem to play more and more and more for quarterbacks. So you don't want to take a deal that's going to set your market back. And for Mike McCarthy, if he took a 2-year extension and it was incentive-based, well, then what he does now as a coach, he's opened up Pandora's box for now other owners and general managers to say, well, if that coach took a 2-year deal that was heavy incentive laden, and no, now we're going to start doing deals like that. And you just messed up the structure of how coaching kind of does their business, because coaching, that money's guaranteed. No matter what they signed for, that money is 100% guaranteed. And kudos for Mike McCarthy to saying, nah, you're not going to give me a 2-year deal. Nah, you're not going to give me some incentive-laden contract. You're going to do me like you've done everybody else. And to be honest with you, Mike McCarthy was already underpaid, making $4 million a year. I mean, I'm not saying that he's Andy Reid, but I mean, Andy Reid's making 20, and other guys like McVay and Shanahan and likes of those people are making 18 and 16 and 14. I mean, you're talking about Mike McCarthy being grossly underpaid as a head coach. And I'm assuming he stood up for himself, and as he should, because it's not just him. It's just because if Mike doesn't make more money, his assistants don't make more money. So he's not just standing up for the rights of himself and other head coaches around this league, but also his assistants, right? Like that, because if his pay don't go up significantly, their pay doesn't go up significantly. And when I hear about, these numbers with Mike McCarthy, and let me be clear, because some of you may want to ask, well, Jesse, where do you stand? If you followed me on any platform here, on Twitter, anywhere else, I thought Mike had done all he could here. I thought Mike was done here. I didn't want Mike to come back. As an offensive guy, I just felt what he wasn't modern enough for me. I felt like what he wasn't with the times. And he said it multiple times in different pressers that he's done and interviews that he's done. And this is no different than many other coaches. You coach, you parent, you relationship, you do all the things based on what your foundation says. And you can tweak things certain here and there, but if you've done a certain style of offense, for Mike McCarthy, the West Coast offense, if you've done that for 30 years, you ain't changing a player's game in the 9th inning. Mike's not all of a sudden now adopting this new way of thinking. He's not adopting the, 85% of the time motioning. He's not adopting the different route concepts. He's not adopting these different insights. Now, he may add a sprinkle here and there, but to his core, he's going to do what he has been taught to do, trained to do, knows how to do, and has been doing it for 30 years. And that's primarily the West Coast offense and what he does. I just thought that had run its course here with the Cowboys. I thought it became predictable. You see in those big games, those interceptions that was happening, you can base them on the quarterback, but you can also base them on that defense knowing, this formation, they're running a handful of plays out of that. So let me sit here, let me jump this, let me jump that, and make a play. And it's cost the Cowboys significantly in some big-time games. So I just knew, I felt that it was time. It was time for a new head coach here. Now, here comes the interesting question, because the Cowboys decided today, cool, we're not bringing Mike McCarthy back. But now we have to ask the question, if not Michael from Pittsburgh, then who? Jerry ate the cookies from, but now we have to ask the question, but who? And the next thing that comes to mind in the but who conversation is we don't really know. Because, and here's why I say we don't really know. And I'm going to tell you why I think we don't really know. And I'm also tell you why I think it's going to be something that you probably won't like if you're a Cowboy fan. Reason number one, we all remember Jerry Jones talking about, it would be embarrassing the check that I would write for to win a Super Bowl. Well, newsflash, Jerry Jones, in order to get a really, really, really good head coach in your organization, you're going to have to write a check. Not that $4 million chump change you gave to Mike McCarthy, who was dying to get out of the barn, dying to get out of the house, desperate to get back in football, would have taken anything. That's not going to cut it. So when you talk about names like Ben Johnson, of course, he's the hot name. Everybody wants Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson has already told you, hey, I need to be aligned with the owner and the GM, or at least the GM. I need to be aligned. We need to be on the same page. You need to tell me what went wrong and how we're going to fix it. But you know what also comes with Ben Johnson? About a $15 million per year. Not a 4-year $15 million deal. Not a 4-year $20 million deal. $15 million per year is coming with Ben Johnson. That's just that's the going rate for a guy like Ben Johnson. If you decide that, we're going to go chase down Bill Belichick from the University of North Carolina, my alma mater, and make him your new head coach, well, first and foremost, you're going to owe North Carolina $10 million. So let's start there. $10 million buyout for him. Okay? Then Bill's going to say, I ain't Mike. If I got 6, 7, 8 of these things under my belt, you're going to have to pay me in the range of $15 to $20 million per season. There's other names that come about. Robert Saleh is a name that come about. He's another guy who, big-time defensive coordinator. I think that defensive mind would work well here with Micah and company. He would at least give you some stability. He's going to give you some discipline, some toughness, some nastiness on the defense. Everywhere he's gone, he's had a top 5 defense, and they've been nasty. He's not going to neglect that defensive line. He's going to get some big nasties in front of Micah. He's going to get some linebackers in there. He's going to get this thing rocking and rolling from the defense perspective. But I do think with Robert Saleh, you're going to have to pair him up with probably a pretty good OC, a modern-day OC. But again, you're talking about $15 to $20 million. There's been swirls around the conversation of, is Pete Carroll itching to come back in the National Football League? Don't know if I want a 73-year-old. And I know that Pete Carroll is young and energetic and youthful and has the bounce and the energy. Don't know if I want a 73-year-old. Don't know if I want a 73-year-old. I just don't. Sometimes those old ways die hard. But if you're telling me he's going to be a walk-around head coach and just kind of be a CEO of the football team, then maybe we could have a conversation if he's bringing in a Robert Saleh type defensive coordinator or a Ben Johnson type offensive coordinator that he can just be the CEO of. But if Pete Carroll's going to be coming in and being a head coach and one of the coordinators, don't know if I'm into it. You got other names like Deion Sanders. That's a name that keeps coming about. Now, Deion has said that he doesn't want any parts of the NFL. But he's also said, unless he's coaching his sons. Now, do I think Shedeur will be there at 12? I do not. But could Deion come in and step in and say, hey, I told y'all to the right spot, my son will follow. My sons will follow. And maybe he could tell all other teams, hey, if you draft my son, he's not coming. He won't be there. Don't waste your time. And Shedeur falls down the draft board and falls to 12 to the Cowboys. Far-fetched. I know that there's other names like Brian Flores, other names like Aaron Glenn. Now, because I am who I am, and at times I just don't give a damn, I'm going to say the quiet thing out loud. I'm going to say the elephant in the room. I'm going to speak on it. I highly, and I do repeat, highly doubt that Jerry Jones is hiring an African-American coach to be his head coach. Not calling Jerry racist. I'm calling Jerry that has preferences. And I just highly doubt. I would be shocked. I would be ghost white shocked, tickle pink if Jerry was to hire an African-American head coach. Just don't see it happening. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. And I know I just don't see it happening. You could put whatever you want to put in between those lines if you want. I'm saying I just don't see it happening. So the names like Brian Flores and Tomlin and Aaron Glenn and maybe Robert Saleh, he's a minority. He's Lebanese. But there's a lot of names circulating out through the name. Couple names that are very, very interesting, and I would not be a fan of. Bring old back boy wonder. Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore grew up in this organization, was a player, quarterback coach, worked his way up to offensive coordinator. Jerry made Mike McCarthy accept him his first couple years here before Mike said, I can't do it. Either I'm going to be the head coach and the play caller. I'm not conceding this to this young boy over there. He goes to San Diego. He goes to the LA Chargers. Kellen Moore did, and then he ends up in Philadelphia where his team, won a wild card game the other day. Kellen Moore, he has a relationship with Jerry Jones. He's comfortable with Dak Prescott. They know each other. I don't like it. I think they're too friendly. Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott, they're more buddies than player coach. And there needs to be a distinction and a delineation of the two. I've heard people say Jason Garrett. Bring Jason Garrett back. Jerry's been on record that says one of his biggest mistakes was firing Wade Phillips in the middle of the season. Maybe Wade Phillips is an option. At this point in time, if you can think of a name that has a living and breathing heart that can coach football right now, just know there's going to be a black dude or a minority that come through here, because we all know the NFL, and it's not just the Cowboys, it's not just Jerry Jones, make a mockery of the Rooney Rule. So in the next couple of days, I know people are going to say, listen, a minority will be hired, or a minority will be interviewed, So whether that's Ron Rivera, who they've been using lately, the Patriots pulled out Pep Hamilton and Byron Leftwich. Before Jerry Jones hired Mike McCarthy, he gave Marvin Lewis a drive-by interview to fulfill the Rooney Rule. So in the next couple of days, you'll probably see someone saying, "Oh, said minority head coaching candidate will be entered by the Cowboys." Just know that that's all a part of doing the Rooney Rule. Maybe some wild names that may come about. Jason Witten has been a name that's been floated out there as a wild speculation of head coach. Of course, the Tony Romo speculation is out there. I highly doubt that Tony wants any part of coaching. Tony's making $19 million to talk football and play golf all week. So I don't know if he wants to get into coaching and have all that stress and anxiety put on his life when he's making $19 million a year, working a couple days a week and playing golf the rest of them. So, big news. Like I said, the Cowboys are out on Mike McCarthy. What's also interesting from a player's perspective, Dak will be entering his 9th or 10th year. He came into this league, and Jason Garrett was his offensive coordinator. Then Kellen Moore was his offensive coordinator. Then it was Mike McCarthy's offensive coordinator. So now, if Mike, for some reason, they don't work this thing out, Dak Prescott will be on his 4th offensive coordinator. Is he happy about that? Did Jerry Jones consult Dak about this news? I know that Micah Parsons met with Jerry Jones last Friday at the Texas-Ohio State game at AT&T Stadium. I heard that they met for 90 minutes after the game was over. They were up in the suite talking. Was this a conversation that that Jerry was having with Micah? And if I'm Micah Parsons, I'm next up for a contract. I have to, this is just Jesse Holley, if I'm Micah Parsons, I'm thinking to myself, man, I've watched these teams drag their feet with contracts with CD and Dak. They drag their feet with Garrett. I've been a part of it. This will be my 3rd or 4th defensive coordinator coming in here. And Micah was quoted a week or so ago on his podcast says, we are hoisting the Lombardi next year. If I'm Micah and I'm seeing all of this transpire, one, do I want to be here for life? And 2, do I really think that we're going to hoist the Lombardi when I have to learn another defense? Probably. I'm going to get another defensive coordinator, another defensive line coach, linebacker coach. If I'm Micah, you got to ask yourself that question. Is this where I really want to be for life? Are we going to get this thing figured out in my prime? Because I don't want to waste it away and never have a true chance at winning a Super Bowl. But man, we will keep you posted about all of it and how it goes down. But Mike McCarthy is out as the Cowboys head coach. The search is now on. We will see whether the Cowboys and Jerry Jones gets right to this thing. The Patriots from firing to hiring took 6 days. We'll see what happens with the Cowboys. Will they drag their feet? A deadline makes deals. But also, Jerry wants to be the hard, tough negotiator. We will see how this thing plays out. Make sure you guys stay tuned in to Bleav in the Cowboys. Remember, hit the like, subscribe button, notification button. Put it in get this thing in your algorithm. Get this thing teed up and ready to go, man. Because in the next couple days, you don't know what will happen. We'll keep you updated on all of those things, and we'll have some more up-to-date, maybe some breaking news at the end of this week, maybe next week, depending on how the Cowboys want to do this thing. But as of right now, the coaching vacancy for the Dallas Cowboys is open. All right, man, I'm your boy, Jay Holley. I'm out of here, man. Remember, eliminate the contingencies. I'm out.